Command, this is Outpost. Hostiles inbound. Multiple machines, heavy armor. Requesting immediate backup.
This machine is being described by some analysts as one of the most advanced battlefield laser systems ever developed, and according to circulating claims, it is now fully operational and positioned as a strategic deterrent in rising Middle East tensions. The image shows a heavy multi-axle armored vehicle equipped with a mounted high-energy laser turret, designed to intercept aerial threats such as drones, rockets, and possibly missiles. Defense experts say systems like this represent the future of warfare, silent, precise, and capable of firing at the speed of light without traditional ammunition. Reports and online discussions suggest that Israel has accelerated development of directed energy weapons and expanded cooperation with the United States in sharing advanced defense technology. While there is no official confirmation of deployment against any specific country, speculation has intensified amid renewed unrest inside Iran and growing rhetoric between Washington and Tehran. Recent protest waves inside Iran, reportedly beginning at universities, have added another layer of uncertainty to an already fragile regional environment. At the same time, major outlets have warned that any direct confrontation between the United States and Iran would carry extreme risks, particularly given Iran's advanced missile capabilities. In this climate of tension, the emergence of powerful laser defense systems has fueled debate about whether the balance of power in the region is shifting toward a new era of high-tech warfare, one defined not just by missiles and airstrikes, but by precision energy weapons capable of changing strategic calculations overnight. As tensions continue to rise, the internal situation inside Iran adds another critical layer to the broader geopolitical picture. A fresh wave of protests has reportedly emerged, beginning from universities where students once again took to the streets. This follows earlier nationwide demonstrations that were forcefully suppressed, yet despite the previous crackdown, unrest appears to be resurfacing. The timing has drawn attention because it comes amid strong rhetoric from Washington and growing speculation about potential escalation. A major report published in the New York Times warned that any direct military confrontation with Iran could become one of the most dangerous moves in modern U.S. history, emphasizing that Iran's missile capabilities are advanced enough to pose serious risks to American forces in the region. Analysts caution that underestimating Tehran's defensive and retaliatory capacity could lead to heavy consequences. At the same time, discussions about emerging technologies, including high-energy laser defense systems reportedly developed in close cooperation between Israel and the United States, have intensified debate about whether the balance of power is shifting toward next-generation warfare tools. Gulf countries such as Qatar and Saudi Arabia are also being closely watched, as any large-scale conflict could bring instability directly to their borders, forcing them to reassess their strategic positions. Meanwhile, observers note that despite visible military buildups and naval deployments, Iran has not signaled surrender or retreat, which has surprised some policymakers who may have expected pressure alone to change Tehran's calculations. All of this creates a volatile environment where internal unrest, advanced weapon systems, and regional alliances intersect, making the coming period one of the most sensitive and unpredictable phases in recent Middle Eastern history. What makes this moment even more complex is the strategic silence and positioning happening behind the scenes. While public rhetoric remains strong, there are also reports of indirect diplomatic contacts and quiet back-channel discussions aimed at preventing full-scale escalation. At the same time, analysts point out that regime pressure through internal unrest has historically been viewed by major powers as a potential leverage point. The renewed protests inside Iran, largely student-driven at the start, are being closely monitored not only by Tehran but also by Washington and regional capitals. Some observers argue that external pressure combined with domestic dissatisfaction can create unpredictable outcomes, yet history shows that such scenarios do not always unfold as expected. Despite heavy naval deployments and visible military signaling in the region, Iran has not indicated any willingness to back down. Instead, officials continue projecting resilience, reinforcing the idea that surrender under pressure is not part of their strategic doctrine. This has reportedly caused concern among certain policymakers who may have assumed that overwhelming force posture alone would alter Tehran's calculations. Meanwhile, discussions surrounding advanced defense technologies, including laser-based interception systems and next-generation missile shields, are reshaping how military planners assess risk and deterrence. Gulf states remain cautious, aware that any direct clash could quickly spill beyond borders and disrupt economic stability, energy routes, and regional security architecture. In this fragile environment, perception becomes as powerful as capability. A single miscalculation, a misunderstood signal, or a sudden escalation could shift the balance dramatically, making the current phase not just tense, but historically significant. The situation now appears to be entering a decisive and highly sensitive phase. Military assets remain deployed across the region, and naval forces continue operating at elevated readiness levels, yet no confirmed direct strike has taken place. This suggests that deterrence is still influencing calculations on all sides. Inside Iran, the renewed protest wave, reportedly beginning in universities, has added another layer of pressure to an already tense environment. Although earlier demonstrations were forcefully suppressed, the resurfacing of unrest shows that internal dynamics remain fragile. However, history indicates that external pressure combined with domestic protests does not automatically produce regime collapse, especially in states structured around centralized authority and strategic endurance. At the same time, discussion around advanced defense technologies, including high-energy laser interception systems developed through close cooperation between Israel and the United States, continues shaping debate about whether the regional balance of power is shifting toward next-generation warfare tools. Gulf countries remain cautious, aware that even limited confrontation could disrupt borders, markets, and energy flows. Meanwhile, policymakers in Washington face the challenge of applying pressure without triggering a large-scale retaliation, while Tehran projects resilience rather than retreat. The convergence of internal unrest, visible military positioning, and emerging technologies has created a volatile moment where perception may influence outcomes as much as capability itself. The next phase will likely depend not only on military capability but on political calculation and psychological endurance. Despite visible deployments and strong rhetoric, neither side has crossed the line into confirmed direct confrontation, which indicates that strategic restraint is still at play. Inside Iran, the renewed protests, reportedly sparked from university campuses, continue to draw attention, yet their long-term impact remains uncertain. Previous demonstrations were contained through firm measures, and analysts caution that internal unrest does not always translate into structural change, particularly in systems built around centralized authority and security control. At the same time, American officials are reportedly weighing the risks highlighted by major media outlets, which warn that any large-scale conflict could carry significant costs given Iran's missile reach and defensive preparations. Discussions around advanced technologies, including laser-based interception platforms developed in partnership between Israel and the United States, have added another dimension to the strategic debate, suggesting that future conflicts may rely more on precision energy systems than traditional firepower alone. Gulf states continue watching carefully, aware that geography places them at immediate risk should escalation occur. Economic stability, oil routes, and investor confidence all hang in the balance. Meanwhile, Tehran's posture remains outwardly defiant, signaling that pressure alone may not achieve quick concessions. This convergence of internal tension, military signaling, and technological evolution has produced a moment where miscalculation could be costly, yet diplomacy, even if quiet and indirect, still holds the potential to reshape the trajectory. As this situation continues to unfold, the stakes appear higher than ever, with internal unrest inside Iran, visible military deployments across the region, and growing discussion about next-generation defense technologies all converging at the same time. Despite intense rhetoric and strategic positioning, no confirmed large-scale direct confrontation has taken place, suggesting that deterrence and calculated restraint are still influencing decisions on all sides. Analysts warn that any escalation would likely extend beyond a single border, affecting Gulf states, energy markets, and global investor confidence, while policymakers in Washington weigh pressure against the risk of heavy consequences and Tehran maintains a posture of resilience rather than retreat. The combination of student-led protest waves, advanced missile capabilities, and emerging laser-based interception systems developed through close cooperation between Israel and the United States has intensified debate over whether the balance of power in the region is shifting toward a new era of technologically driven deterrence. Every statement, deployment, and diplomatic signal now carries amplified importance, making this one of the most sensitive geopolitical phases in recent memory. If you are closely following these developments and want clear, structured updates without exaggeration, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next analysis, press like to support balanced discussion, and share your perspective in the comments because your insight adds depth to this ongoing conversation and helps others understand the broader picture. As this intense sequence of events reaches its climax, the geopolitical tension in the Middle East has escalated to an unprecedented level, with both strategic posturing and real-time intelligence shaping every decision. Iran's leadership is coordinating defensive measures while closely monitoring the advanced laser-based interception system supplied by Israel to the United States, designed to neutralize high-value targets. Diplomatic channels are working overtime to prevent any miscalculation that could trigger wider conflict, while analysts warn that even a minor strike could spark a cascade of consequences across Gulf nations, global energy markets, and international security frameworks. The combination of domestic protests, external pressure, and cutting-edge defense technology means that any movement or announcement could shift the balance dramatically. Key military assets are on alert, and international observers are analyzing each tactical deployment for signs of escalation or restraint. In this final stage, it is clear that the world is watching closely as calculated patience and precise intelligence may determine whether the region avoids catastrophe or experiences irreversible upheaval. The laser system's readiness, the careful monitoring of leadership positions, and the layered deterrence strategies demonstrate a highly complex chessboard of modern warfare. For those following this crisis closely, staying informed is essential. Subscribe to keep up with verified updates, press like if you value accurate reporting, and share your thoughts in the comments to contribute to a global understanding of these critical developments.